And hello, YouTube. Welcome to what I'm expecting to be the finale of Pillars of Eternity. You'll know because the thumbnail will have a red number on it. That's how you know it's the final part. If it doesn't, and I'm talking shit, well, I guess me is the fool. Our favourite, I'll get... Them's fighting words, Uzi. I'm going to come over there and I'm going to jostle all your slime all over the room. That is not... That's supposed to be a threat and not, you know, a promise of a good time. Anyway, Pillars of Eternity. We just had a massive chat where we discovered the gods aren't real. The Ingwithans basically manufactured gods. So there'd be something to believe in. God damn it, Uzi. Your slime will coat the walls. Adia wants to chat.
Doesn't that just beat all? Here I was, wondering all this time whether all these terrible things were people's fault or the gods. Turns out they might be the same thing.
Hey, Schmoogle. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a lovely day. Welcome to me talking about jostling Uzi's slime. And hi, Zixki. If you don't have your own gods, store-bought and Gwyffin is fine. Thank you, Johanna.
Cheese.
Cheese. Me and Abby went out shopping earlier. So, in the fridge right now, no guarantees for how long it'll remain there. We have some Baby Bells, red Leicester cheese, and mature cheddar. You know, we have some nice cheeses.
Wonder how things would have gone different 15 years ago if the Raid Sarens had been told their god was made in some forge or kiln someplace. Would we still have gone to war?
Well, people were starving. They'd have rebelled sooner or later.
I could see the rebellion still happening, but I don't know that they would have invaded.
He looks down at the ground, drumming his fingers against his side restlessly. When he speaks again, it seems half to himself.
I don't know. When Woden left for war, we, had a fight. As brothers will.
His gaze remains low, distant. Adia's throat catches. He takes a slow breath. What about?
About him going off to war. He was set on it.
Thanks for the
My
follow,
parents
Schmoogle.
warned him. They said you get a new country with every trip across the border, but your god, you only get the one.
Yeah, if you need a link to the VOD channel, it's in the social links which I've just put in chat. And if you're watching the VOD, you can find these in the description.
Me? I didn't know who was right. All I knew was I didn't want him to go. It's the same for families as it is for gods. You only get the one.
Adia bites his lower lip. Well, you may know, and thank you, 4G. You know, every time it comes, I've got to mention it for anyone new who might want to catch up.
I said every vicious thing I could think of, trying to change his mind. He brushed it off. Just got me madder, of course, him being so calm. He said I should come with him, but he'd understand if I didn't want to. I told him he'd better be able to face his god one day and answer for what he'd done. He said he'd keep that in mind. And then, he was gone.
I have a quick question for anyone who is familiar with this series. In Pillars 2, do I import my save to import choices, or is it like a fresh start? Does it have a save import feature? It does, okay. Neat. I get to live with my decisions and consequences.
By the time I'd cooled off, months had passed. One morning it dawns on me that my brother always knew better than me. If he was so sure of what he was doing, then I should be there with him. I packed my things and was on the road that same morning. Of course, what I didn't know then was he'd already changed his mind. By that time, he was dead on that field.
Do you think he went to Widewind because of what you said to him?
Crossed my mind. You live in a place like Gilded Vale. You don't have a whole lot else to do other than think about things you don't want to think about. I hope that wasn't it. I hope he went there because it's what he thought was right. But it seems I'm not meant to know.
So if you'd left with him, you'd have known why he changed his mind.
If I'd have left with him, we'd both be dead, so I don't know why I bother thinking about it. I found my own way in the end, and it wasn't my brother's and it wasn't my god's.
Which dragons are killed?
I don't know if it was right, but I couldn't abide what Wydwin was doing to his own, god or not.
I think I've only killed one, technically. Right? I killed the frost dragon in the White March. The dragon with the soul in the bottom of Ked Nua, I transferred its soul to someone's unwilling body. The two dragons in the swamp, I convinced them to just, hey, I'm not gonna give this time magic to anyone, so we'll just go our own way. Unless there are any other dragons I've forgotten. I
don't regret it. Whether Wydwin was Aothis, well, it hardly seems to matter after what we just heard. And all these questions I've been trying to figure out. I think I just miss my brother.
He shakes his head and smiles faintly, and when he breathes, the air seems to flow more freely through his lungs. Let's be on our way.
Still one more mess we gotta straighten out. Come on then. I still owe you one.
No one else wants to chat at the moment. Down we go. Oh, the Sky Dragon. Yes, I do remember that one. That one I left be as well. I was just like, hey, you'd live here? That's neat. I'll leave you to look after your kid. Bye. Right, new map.
Even my Stelgar eyes can't see in this darkness.
It is a little dark. It was a very interesting twist that I did not see coming. And you learn your brother died for an artificial god that got blown up. Yep. That's rough, buddy. Oh, good. We got some light in here. Where are all these souls? Are these the souls that helped me jump down the pit? I mean, well, if anyone's down here, they're gonna know we're here now, aren't they? I just turned all the bloody lights on.
Incredible! I knew the builders could work wonders, but this is amazing!
Many spirits stir here, edged with anger, violence.
We light our own path now, Watcher.
I don't suppose you could make a few bridges the same way, hmm?
Can you do that again? I had something in my eye. Missed most of it.
God damn it, Ada. Oh, a diamond. Lovely. Okay. Even more boots of speed. Ah, shades. Okay. Spirits. Do I have any anti-spirit things? Yes. Daybreak. Your weapon. So you stick with that. I switch to shotgun. And everyone just approach to attack. Oh. Another spirit there. Okay, you're gonna jump like here. Cool, right, you keep that one occupied. Right. The spirit's not vessels, so that's not gonna do much to them. Also that's the wrong character. Returning Storm? Actually, that's centered on you, isn't it? So you need to get closer.
What?
Bless us, I suppose. Do I even need a Returning Storm here? It's only 2 more of them.
Ah!
How much power do you have? 79. Where's your detonate? Detonate that ghost. I'm really enjoying detonate as a spell. Maybe I'll be a cipher in Pillars 2. Important question, steal any babies? I do not believe I have committed the theft of any babies, no.
Uh-huh.
As far as I can recall. Which is an odd thing to say.
Would you look at this?
Ooh. Yeah, that dragon was collared. That's kinky. Gauntlets of Swift. That's just more attack speed. Okay. How did they get in your ribs? That's not where you wear gloves. Can I touch this? Oh, Shadow Drake. Okay.
Valerie. Water.
I will
Stop
have
slouching.
Alright, let's go kill a Shadow Drake. Alright, tanks. Off you pop. Counts as a beast, not a spirit.
Lead the way.
So... I guess you're gonna... Actually, what are its... I don't know its damage reductions. You will switch to your artifact weapon then. I will enter stealth and attempt to shotgun it in the eyeballs. Not immune to blinded. Good. You will attempt to detonate the dragon. Wait for combat to start for you. Are we in combat yet? No? Now we are. Oh dear. Is it too late to get the other tank to turn around? Where are you? There you are. Okay, you help with these. Actually, if you get in between those two, and then you can spin to win. You are about to get accosted, so switch to your staff and bop it on the head or something. Alright, we're all getting blessed. I'm gonna switch to my crossbow and try to set this one. Did it work? Yeah, he's stunned for 6 seconds. Cool. Alright, how's the dragon doing? Or Drake? Badly injured. These two. Okay. Can they be frightened? Apparently they can. Yell at them. Alright, they've been interdicted. Drop a pillar on them. Not an eternal one or anything. Not that fancy. Not immune to prone. Knock it out of the air. Yay! That's good. Right, and now you are down to 24 power. Bounce psychic energy harmlessly off a target and onto the closest nearby enemy. Sure. Just jostle that dragon on the floor. Right, you can switch back to ranged.
Thing is doing his job.
Do you see how she just curved that bullet? Knock it down again. Alright, those two are down. Everyone focus fire. There you go. What'd you miss? We just came downstairs and turned the lights on. We had a chat with Adia about his feelings on how all the gods are not real. Well, are real,
Okay.
but manufactured, I suppose. And now we're exploring Sun in Shadow. It's got some nice hexagon tiling going on down here. I approve of the decor. Maybe not so much the ash statues full of diamonds and other gemstones. That's a jump? Oh, there might be treasure there. There's totally treasure there. A lone segment of the bridge rises over the ruins of an ancient city. It looks stable enough, but the wide gap leaves little room for error. No. No.
Uh-huh.
I don't like how that's worded. Can we touch this one? Well, I definitely dispelled the darkness. You free, move up. There you go. Right, now you can do this. You can detonate that one. You shoot that one. I need to switch to shotgun. And then you can spin to win. Oh. And then a drake lands on my head. Okay. Maybe I should move. I guess just spin on that one. Spin on the dragon. Not much else you can do there. Sure, returning storm on the dragon. Right, knock down. I'll try and stun it.
Arthur,
Definitely got AoEs on
we're
it.
the Wrath!
You've turned to 5 focus and you're a bit injured. Oh, and now you're on the floor. Okay. Returning Storm grazes the Drake for 4 damage. A star for trying, I guess. Wait, does that not have a target? Is that caster only? Oh, it's an AoE. Okay. Burn it. I will try to wither it. I did manage to stun it with my shotgun. It's stunned for like 10 seconds. Endurance is helping with the shade. It looks like... It looks like Manaha could use a little bit of healing. What else can you do? You can give it an... Just shout at it. There a wall there? I want it to bounce right back. Oh, it bounced to the left. Of course. It's near death. We've got this. Yep, defeated there. Oh, no, we win. We killed them both at the same time. Okay, all good. Heal up, loot, and then save. There's a door there. We could keep going this way, though. Or down these stairs. Saving. Get into position, and down we go. What do you mean, no? Why can't I go down these stairs? Are they broken? Alright, I guess I'm not going that way. We got stuff here. Leather armor. Why am I even bothering looting? Like, I'm pretty sure I'm past the point of no return. It's not like I'm going to have anyone to sell things to. Old habits, I guess. More shades.
That didn't work!
Piercing's not working. Throw a firebug at them.
Try something else!
This thing isn't doing the...
Oh, well, target died.
job.
Throw at the further one then.
Lavari!
Yeah, that's good damage. Alright, cheese. Right, I just saw your message there, Door. I see cheese in chat, I just react like a parrot. Cheese? Cheese? Good morning, it's 5:22 PM in time zone of mine. Yeah, good morning to you. Good time zone. Well, I guess that's all clear. Save. And enter. Oh, we just have the full map here. What is this fricking soul storm? Alright. My bloodstone. Wait, do I have to go all the way? I do have to go all the way around, don't I? Okay. Get in formation. I'll do a couple laps of this place.
Are you ready to take the oath? To spread the word of the gods to the lost and heathen?
Visions of Thaos. Can't talk to them. 2 rings of unshackling. Why would you give me 2 of these rings? Suppress affliction. I wonder if that's a hint. That the hostiles are going to attempt to debuff us. Also bulwark against the elements and scrolls of defense. 6 meter radius. Well, if I'm ever going to cast it, might as well be here.
I am trusting you to remain loyal to the gods in this. If you do not, you will have greater powers than me to answer to. But you will answer to me as well.
You know the truth as well, don't you? I assume he does. +2 might, +2 resolve belt. Flexion braces.
I wouldn't ask this were there any other choice.
Nothing else there. We go downstairs.
This is a missionary, same as I was. Taught the wrong things as I was. Ossionis. They have held off many would-be invaders.
You are ready to give a confession?
I am ready to hear one from you.
I remember that's when she was being tortured. You tortured my wife, Thaos. Prepare to die. Okay. Save here, because this is the big arena. I expect to get cutscened very soon. Oh yeah, and then trapped her in super limbo. Really? Nothing? Oh, no, there we go. You've come to a circular room, grand and domed, its walls lined with Aedra and trimmed with copper. At the far end, a great pillar of Aedra pierces the floor from below like a ragged spike, its shimmering texture giving the illusion of boundless depth. Your thoughts are yours, and not yours, and they are all questions. At the base of the pillar stands Thaos, a look of concern on his face as he notes your approach. You have something you want to ask him, one question above all others, spinning madly in your mind, but you don't dare ask it yet. You need some admission from him first, some hint of the veracity of your suspicions.
You are far from your post, Inquisitor. What brings you here?
Was the entire Inquisition based on a lie?
The Inquisition was based on the need to cut the flesh from a rotting wound.
Was Iovara telling the truth?
That woman sought only to destroy the foundations of peace and civility that my people sacrificed everything to build.
That machine behind you, what does it do?
It has many uses, but its purpose is to bring structure to the chaos that surrounds it.
And all these statues, who are they of?
They are monuments to Woodica's greatest servants among my people. I hope to join them myself one day, but my work is not yet complete.
And I realize I probably should have asked this first, but what is this place?
We are in a sanctum holy to Woodica. There are others like it in service to the other gods. I come here often to pray for her counsel, and in this space I may be assured that she hears me.
You're shaking now. Having lost all patience for tact, no more evasions, you have to know. Everything you believed, everything you have done for the gods. Did you lie to me when you said the gods could end suffering? Thaos says nothing. Are there no gods?
What is a god? A higher power? A rewarder of good deeds and punisher of the wicked? Something men can turn to in their darkest moments when their days seem only like bridges from one tragedy to the next. Our gods are all these things.
Thaos' face remains a mask of impassivity. With his every word, you find yourself losing control of a boiling cauldron of rage and doubt and fear and hopelessness, until you can take it no more. Are there no gods?
We are in a sacred place within earshot of the gods themselves. This is not the time. You've been through much these past few months.
With maddening calm, Thaos puts an index finger to his lips.
You will return home and you will rest. When you feel you have recovered, you may rejoin us at the trials. The Inquisition is far from over, and I will have need of you. There are many who continue to spread the lies of the apostate. The Inquisition will not end until we have pronounced judgment on all of them.
His eyes linger on you, and there's no mistaking the threat behind it, and your rage shrinks at the image of an iron wheel in your mind, monolithic and caked with the dried blood of thousands. You do not ask your question again. Is that the real Thaos? He's dual wielding. He's ready.
How did you find it?
I didn't. It was Lady Webb.
Another in a string of acts of petty defiance. For all her knowledge, she always preferred spite over reason.
She loved you.
Then she should have obeyed. I ask one thing of all my followers. She was incapable. A waste of rare talent and intellect.
Blind obedience is a lot to ask of someone with a mind of their own.
What of your cohorts, then? They have followed you to their deaths. Is it loyalty that brings them here? Or is it, as my agents suggest, that they have no direction of their own? You worshipped Aethys, did you not?
Thaos regards Adia.
Your spies are good. What gave me away? The cape?
Yet when your god needed you the most, you chose your country.
Adia frowns, irritated.
We were being invaded. Not by anyone who was acting like a god.
Then I should think your hometown gave you a hero's welcome when you returned.
Thaos gives a thin, patronizing smile.
They made cake. Hard to blame people for losing faith when it's the gods who are misbehaving.
Adia smiles at this.
The gods argue over how best to prevent Kith society from destroying itself. These disruptions would not be necessary were mortal instinct not so diseased. What of you, Orlan? My agents tell me you are far from home, both in distance and in years. Have your friends proven a worthy distraction from the pain of ostracism?
He shifts his gaze downward.
Ostracism? Is that the name for the groin rash your mother gave me? Don't fool yourself, old man. You know nothing about me.
Aravius's single eye focuses in on Thaos' neck, and the Orlan's ear stump twitches.
Enlighten me, then. Is it Galawain you serve, or is it Wau?
I do not serve Galawain. I am an instrument of his will.
He hisses, a low growl emanating from him. His fingers splay and his fingernails stretch into blackened talons.
But such difficulty on the way. If you had only accepted that perhaps you were fit to serve neither god, just as you were unfit to serve your tribe, you might have saved yourself the trouble.
Belittle my struggle at your own peril, Thaos. I have been reforged by challenge and contest. Saved myself the trouble? Pfft, trouble, my friend, is what has made me strong enough to pull your lungs out through your colon.
Nice. Aravius lets out a long hiss, his body relaxing, his talons retracting.
Yet I suspect you amount to little in your god's eyes in either case.
Durant stares at Thaos with a beast's snarl. Thaos watches him calmly.
You built a weapon that delivered exactly as promised.
I served my goddess as you did yours.
Yet the other builders were slain, 11 of a dozen. Why not you? Were you somehow different? Redeemable in your god's sight?
Whatever desire I had to be redeemed in her eyes was weakness, purged by the Watcher's sight.
Or was it merely that your goddess wanted you dead as well, and your delusions of importance prevented you from seeing the obvious?
A whore's beguiling charms, nothing more. But the spell's broke now, Thaos. The trial's over. I know friend from foe, and I've come here now to see a foe repaid.
You were able to destroy a god because another god wished it. Without her hand to guide you, you could not strike at a god any more than you could strike the sky. You are impotent, and not just from the pox.
Thaos regards Manaha.
And the lost gift-bearer. You have been many things in this life, all because you fear what you really are.
Last I checked, the Ingwithans didn't make you a god. You want to tell me you don't have any regrets of your own?
She scowls.
There is no greater calling than the spread and protection of our faith. I regret nothing in service of that cause.
Then you haven't been looking hard enough.
Or perhaps I have merely witnessed the alternative. You are here because you are lost. The gods cannot reach everyone, I'm afraid. May you fare better in your next lives.
Thaos looks over your company, each one in turn. He then directs his gaze at you.
I gather you have had your soul awakened. Why else would you shadow my footsteps like some stray mongrel? You think I have something to offer you, but our business was concluded long ago.
I lived my life by the lies you told. You owe me the truth.
I answered your questions once. That your soul is not fit to accept the answers is of little concern to me. I lied to no one. Not to you, not to anyone. The gods are real. They are everything we need them to be, and the world is better for it.
Even down here, he can't perceive her. Make the most evil choice? No, I refuse that. I'm not turning the playthrough around just for a challenge. No, I refuse. What, I mean, how would you define the most evil choice here anyway? Going through and choosing cruel choices or just attacking him directly right now? You've lied to everyone. Yourself, most of all.
I have no illusions about the costs involved. But what your brief lifespan obscures is that it is what must be done. The heart of this country has skipped a beat, nothing more. I have done far worse. I plunged the peaceful kingdom of Thaos into civil war. I slew the monarch of Desantio, whose people never knew hardship under his rule, and replaced him with a cruel despot who brought them to ruin. When plague arrived at the great city of Arborensis, I saw to it that the cure did not. They piled their dead outside the city in heaps that rose above their walls.
This is supposed to diminish the damage you've done here?
It is to show the proper perspective. There was a time, back when your soul was still a shapeless mist, when the world believed only in false gods. Thousands of them. Gods that told them to take slaves. Gods that told them to make war upon their neighbors and devour the slain. Gods that told them to burn their children alive and cover themselves in the ashes as a sign of their faith. But all that changed when they learned of the true gods. Our gods. All those misshapen, bestial instincts melted beneath the radiance of our god's majesty. You could see it in their eyes. That dull emptiness replaced with the glimmer of a kindled spark.
The spark of false hope.
There is no false hope. Only hope for things that never come. Have you imagined this existence? The one the apostate would have created. We are not all so virtuous as she. Without our gods, the most wicked, the most tyrannical, they would take that power for themselves. But more than that, it would be a hollow existence. All mysteries forever unanswered. All purposes constructed from meaninglessness. No endings to bring closure. Only a wheel, turning without mercy, grinding our spirits to dust.
Thaos no longer looks at you as he speaks. The reflection of the ancient machine flickers and dances in his eyes. Your way comes at too great a cost.
It is the least of all possible costs. Are you so dense as to think a faithless world would not be ridden with calamity?
Thaos scowls.
All I have seen, the millennia of experience. I will not be dissuaded from this course. This is the only way.
You're blind to think yours is the only way. You're controlled by your own doubts.
We are all controlled by our own doubts. Better that we should be relieved of them. With your soul and thousands of others, I will see this world purged of its suffering. Hear me, Woodica. Your servant calls for aid.
Thaos puts his hands out low to either side, as though welcoming some unseen guest. He shuts his eyes and casts his face skyward. Oh. Oh. Oh god, it didn't pause. Woedica's judge and Woedica's headman, they're both vessels. Right, immediately turn around and you get that one. This calls for big spells. Conduit the power of the storm. Any enemy they strike in melee, or strikes them in melee, is attacked by a bolt of lightning. Conjure a fire stag. I just shot Thaos with my shotgun immediately, and it wasn't a special attack, and I've got to reload it now. Who's gonna tank? Are you gonna tank both of them? You probably can. You're gonna step up here. Where are those scrolls? Scroll of defense. Can they be terrified? I don't see that in the list. You're resistant, not immune. Have a really big shout. Right, who have I not? I've told you not to. Okay, right. I wait for Thaos to be down to 2 and then I'm going to detonate him. I feel like that would be a good move. I will try to weaken one of these. Actually, I'll switch to my crossbow so I can fire faster. Oh, it's attacking me.
Valerie, it's time to hydrate.
Stop slouching.
Hydrate. Thank you. Do I jump away so I don't get murdered by this thing? I think I should blind it instead. Actually, let me shadow beyond to get away from it. Why am I not doing anything? Goth. Outfit redeems off. Alright, let me fix that. Let me alt-tab to fix it. I'll get it done. I keep forgetting. I need to set up a system or something that works for both or automatically switches this. Because you won't stop using the wrong thing to tell me it's the wrong thing. Right. Knockdown. Where's prone on that list? Oh, you are very resistant to being knocked prone. I guess that makes sense. End of wheel and woe. Does mean no one's tanking him right now. You're attacking him. Cast a firebug across them. Oh. What just happened? What did he do? What did he do? Enough of this what? What did he do? I'm dying.
Iggy.
Why have I still not shadowed beyond?
Try something else.
Have I stuck? Oh, no, there we go. He's got deep wounds. What the PPEG doing? Get a hat for the model. No, because then it can't be give Greb a hat. I'm going to sneak behind him and I'm going to reload my shotgun. And then I'm going to do a finishing strike on his back with a shotgun from stealth. Where's big heal? Sunder armor. You're still terrified, the other one isn't. You can have a nice big shout. You can cast another firebug. Okay, there goes a heal. Aravius is still a little injured. Shining beacon can cover both of them.
The Faru!
Does he just have massive defense now? Because that shotgun blasted like nothing to him. Oh, we got one down. Right, you're going to do an AoE heal. I'm going to approach so I get AoE healed and also shoot it. We'll attempt to knock it down. Probably won't work. Do I do Abaddon's labor? Inflict fatigue on myself to do a big strike on him? Yes, I do. It's the final fight, probably, maybe. So I did knock it down.
Tired.
Oh, you're tired. Move you up a bit. Then you can heal everyone. There you go. In fact, you might want to do that more than once. I'm about to shoot. I'll try a sapping strike. Do you have any other heals? Probably, right? I mean, you're a druid. That's what druids do. Heal and use elements and things. Sunlance? Cleansing wind? Heal endurance and push back allies. Only 29? Really? Base 32. It's lower than base. I'll turn you into a Stelgar. Yeah, I think I'll just second wind. Okay, they're down. Now it's just you. You're gonna use Defiance to get started back. And go attack. You will attempt to knock down this bloody bastard. It didn't work. That's weird. She has some unnamed, untextured effects on her for 53 seconds. What? What does that mean? Oh, and you're confused for 7 seconds. Cool. Tell you what, I'm gonna Shadow Beyond again. And do a finishing strike on his ace. You will attempt to sunder. Are you confused? Or do I have anything as a cleric that removes confusion? Treachery is just charm and dominate. Restore endurance, reducing durations of negative effects. Major afflictions. Doesn't include confused. How do I remove confused? Imprisonment is paralysis and petrify. Prayer against bewilderment. There we go. Hopefully before you die. Actually, Oh, if we reduce the duration, and that also heals. Heals everyone. That did not seem to reduce the duration of confusion. So I guess I will also attempt to remove the confusion. There. Okay. Switch to crossbow. Sapping strike. Calling the world's maw. And big heal for everyone. Alright. Then you get some distance. And then just throw a cleansing flame at him. What else we got left? Do we have anything left? Detonate that man. Ha! Get detonated, nerd! Grieving mother destroyed Thaos in the combat log. Lovely. Ah. At your feet rests the body of Thaos, hollow, the dense wrinkles shaped by the silent shouldering of an eternal burden now smoothed across his colour-drained face. His soul remains still for the moment, defenceless, its energy expended in defeat. It lies sprawled across his body like a death shroud.
That's the servant down, and the mistress still to go. A good start, worthy of being built upon.
I hope this is the end, but what's to stop him from being born again with the same ill intent? And before you suggest the option, no, I'm not eating his soul. I'll put almost anything in my mouth, but not that.
Sorry. Moravia stands over Thaos, arms folded, and gives the body a firm kick. And then another kick.
Thousands of souls he has tortured. Would that he could live those sufferings 1,000 times himself.
The grieving mother's eyes are cold and hollow as she looks at Thaos.
Some point, you have to look at the things your god is telling you to do. And ask yourself if it's worth it.
Can't help but feel sorry for him. To live so long without a fresh start, with no chance to wonder what's around the corner.
She shakes her head. Explore his soul. With a deep breath, you plunge into Thaos' soul, and where in Brackenbury it had been a maze of narrow corridors and dead ends, now it is expansive and borderless, its walls crumbling into heaps like the ruins of Engwyth as you pass through them. You travel for what seems like ages, rushing to a known destination, a memory you glimpsed once before. At last you see it, no more than a pinprick of light at the end of a long tunnel, expanding slowly at first, then quickly as you near. You come out in the room you are standing in now, but it is new and pristine and filled with people, thousands of them, all turned towards the great Aedra pillar and the machine that encases it. Thaos stands at the machine, and you are one with him now. You look out at the crowd, at faces of shriveled old men and cherub-cheeked little girls, at mothers bouncing infants to quiet them, and fathers clasping their children's restless hands and watching you with somber acceptance. A woman with tears in her eyes gives you a small nod. You turn back toward the machine, your breaths constricted beneath the weight of unwanted knowledge, preparing yourself to set out alone on a journey without end. You close your eyes and open them again to find the machine still in front of you, beckoning. You take your place in front of it and place your hands upon a large mechanical disc at the base of the great crystal column and speak a single word. Giant rings creak to life, building speed, setting arrays of carved draconic mouths aglow and sending tremors through the platform beneath you. The entire room shakes now with the force of the accelerating machine, all sound drowned out by its deep, deafening thrum. Brilliant tendrils of light arc outward from the pillar in all directions, and you look over your shoulder to see them engulfing the crowd, burning them brightly like hot iron. One by one the tendrils disappear, leaving ashen effigies where people once stood, many of them disintegrating into grey heaps under the stress of the tremors. You look above to the Aedra pillar, and a glowing spherical mess has begun to coalesce atop the column where the arcs converge. It grows and pulses, translucent and bulbous like some immense chrysalis, suspended in slow rotation as though it were being spun from the arcs of light. When the last arc disappears, the spectral mess hangs a moment, no longer rotating, so bright you must shield your eyes with an outstretched hand, and it seems to you as though it is looking at you. You bow your head in acknowledgement, and look back up to see it melt into the pillar like warm candle wax. The pillar flares with a flash of light, bright as the sun itself, then fades to darkness. The machine slows down to an abrupt halt, and when the last echo of its grinding cogs has passed, the chamber is still, and you are alone. From all sides, reality begins to bleed in through the memory, and you find yourself in your own skin once more, looking down on Thaos' lifeless body. You sense a listlessness to Thaos' soul, an overwhelming fatigue that hinders its immediate escape and makes it vulnerable to manipulation. You feel as though your victory has given you some kind of hold over it, and you're able to do with it as you please. Okay, 5 choices. Return the soul to the cycle, knowing that he will remember this. And his remember that I kicked your ass. Your memory of me kicking your ass is your punishment. Tear his soul apart. I do not envy you. I realize the sway memories can hold. It is time you were granted peace. Banish his soul, the brave Eamon. Thaos ex Arcanon, there can be no forgiveness for your deeds, only justice. You shall escape judgment no longer. Destroy all memories contained within. Your memory makes you a slave to your past. Perhaps it can't be undone, but it can be forgotten. It shall trouble neither of us any longer. Or, again, tear his soul apart. But out of spite. Hmm. Consume. There isn't an eat the soul option, Mystic. If I tear his soul apart, he is gone forever. If I destroy all memories, that implies that they are gone forever, and the soul will live on as a new person eventually when it returns from the wheel, with no memories at all. I'm not sure if awakening would work if I've destroyed the memories. I banish his soul, or I just return it and just say, always know that I beat you. I'm leaning to one. Just to say, just to let his soul itself know that he lost and that he will always lose to me. I don't remember, Mystic. I don't remember. I'd have to Google it. Super Limbo? Oh, that's where my wife is. Right. Right. So she can kick his ass forever. Yeah, my wife who died, who was tortured by him. Do I want to make my wife have to be with him for all eternity? No. No, I do not. Oh, what do I do? Do I make it a poll? I'm kind of torn. But I feel like most of you are leaning toward tear him apart. Alright, I'm going to do a poll, but I'm going to say in advance, I may not listen to the result. I'm just collecting opinions. So, what would you do? Will be Return, tear apart, banish, destroy memories. 1 minute poll. That's just normal British democracy. Yeah, but I'm letting you know in advance and I'm not giving you any hope. I just want to gather opinions. I just want to know what everyone's thinking without having to pass each name in chat individually and count in my head, because that's expecting me to do maths and I can't do that. Destroy memories is actually winning. Now it's tied with banish. Only 1 vote for tear apart. You still got like 20 seconds to vote. Or maybe less, given stream delay. Most of you say destroy his memories. Very few say tear apart. Alright. I will listen to you then. I'm going to destroy all his memories. Your memory makes you a slave to your own past. Perhaps it can't be undone, but it can be forgotten. And shall trouble neither of us any longer.
No! You cannot allow this. He will have no reminders. He will not remember the message we wrote on his fragmented bones and carved into his flesh. The lesson we burned into his soul.
Durance wants him to remember this.
You've given him a clean tablet, and a chance to be of use in his next life. This is a kindness Thaos does not deserve, but perhaps whatever merit is in him will be known to the world the next time around. Let us hope his old nature dies with his
is your line cut off there, Heravius? Memories.
That even a man like Thaos should have a second chance. Well, that gives me hope for the rest of us.
You return to the landscape of Thaos' memory, to the vast terrain of deceptions and crippling despair. And you can feel your agency in this world now, an ability to reshape the whims of your dominant will. You focus on a vision of pure emptiness, and your will becomes a swirling vortex around you, sweeping through the landscape and bearing away moments and lifetimes like some apocalyptic beerwick that would tear away the essence of the planet itself. The storm builds until the very crust of the world peels from the fabric of the soul that anchored it, and it is borne off into the sky until it is too distant to observe. The last thing you see is a white void, boundless in all directions, unfettered by the shackles of experience and doubt. Thank you,
25
Phoebes.
months being your Italy Whittle sub. 3.
Phoebes, you've always been my iddle-whittle sub. In the stillness that follows, a single word echoes through your mind. A word that you spoke when you were one with Thaos in an ancient memory. You realize it is the word that activates the machine.
Okay.
Yep, okay. Well, he lies dead. And I can now activate the machine. As you approach the machine, the path underfoot suddenly changes to a cobbled road. If you hadn't experienced visions like this already in Tia Evron, you'd be tempted to believe that the machine had sucked you into it and deposited you in the middle of nowhere. You must gather your party before venturing forth. The sun blazes overhead, and the rolling meadows and thick forests on either side of the road could be anywhere in the Deerwood. A shrill cackle turns your head. Standing next to you is a malnourished man clad in a threadbare loincloth and manacles. His entire body is striped with lash marks, and there are scarred pits where his nose and ears should be. He stinks of stale sweat and unwashed filth. You notice someone wandering down the road, but the figure's back is to you. The scarred slave has your attention for now.
I have observed you, Watcher. You howl and rage against the powers above you, making wounds with your words in places your hands could never reach. You know the long, bitter struggle, the slow agony of a hopeless battle.
His black eyes glitter.
You have labored at the pleasure of others. That shriveled hag in Hadrit House, those preening soldiers with more taste for silk than steel, the wretched tribesmen playing out their fantasies of grandeur. And then you cowered and knelt before the gods themselves, begging one paltry favor and receiving riddles and visions in response. And now the gods give you orders and commands, even while you set out to fix what they cannot. Yet what have they offered you?
He sidles closer, a sly grin on his wrecked face. His stench is overwhelming. Aravius clears his throat and quietly says, 5 copper says he's about to sell you on his own agenda. Only Whale knows what that might be. Aravius grins and leans in closer, whispering, If I were you, I'd tell him the other guards offered us a dozen nubile lasses. See if he can match that and haggle from there. Given the breadth of the iron manacle, it's amazing that he can raise his bone-thin arm, but he does, and he points to the person walking the other way along the road.
The exiled queen is not an ungrateful patron.
You get a better look at the lone figure and realize that she's wearing robes, tattered and singed, but fine nonetheless. On her head is the silhouette of a broken crown. She continues walking, her pace slow but determined.
Finish the work Thaos began. Strengthen Woodica with these souls and allow her to become the most powerful of all the gods, with you as her favored.
Skane's voice becomes a hungry whisper. I've been working against Woodica this whole time. Why would she thank me now after I've defeated her most loyal servant? The ragged hole in Skane's face wrinkles with disgust. Loyal and weak. Thaos proved his inadequacy when he failed to anticipate you. A plan exposed is worse than none at all. But you have proven resourceful, equal to the schemes of gods. Woodica has a long memory, Watcher, for both friends and foes, and she keeps her oaths. What do you mean by favored? The recipient of Woodica's blessings. She has always had a place for mortals of particular merit. If you help her now, she'll become one of the most powerful of all the gods, and you'll be the one who made her so. Think of the lifetimes of reward you would reap. Ah, bribery, is it? The only reward I wish is the joy of pulling bloody shards of her broken crown from my staff when I have finished with her trial. Skane turns his flinty eyes on Durance. So says your companion who's been abandoned by his own god. Do you really trust him to make alliances for you? Helping Woodica would mean the secrets of the gods stay hidden. He rubs his hands together, his black eyes gleaming. Safely hidden, yes. From the violent overlords who would cease to fear punishment in the next life. From the heavy-handed masters who would answer to no one. The world needs some schemes. Or are the souls of Kif so pure that you would snap the tenuous threads that bind society? Skane takes a bundle at his feet and hefts the burden onto his back. I've explained the alternative, Watcher. Continue as a pawn of the gods, or a partner of one. At the other end of the road, the figure stops. She turns her head just enough to look over her shoulder. Her face is mostly hidden, but one merciless eye peers at you from a cheek of rippled, scorched flesh. Now, is it smart to say no to a god's face? No, but it's pretty badass, isn't it? I won't help you.
You say that now, But when you're standing in front of the machine, considering the lifetimes and the powers that await you, we'll see what you do.
He laughs. He continues down the road, and when the sun suddenly drops below the horizon, it plunges you into momentary darkness. You come to your senses in front of the machine. All these evils we've seen, going all the way back to the Saints' War, that was all Woodica. Imagine if she was stronger on top of it all. Yeah, that feels like that would be a bad time. You barely stop his plans, and then you can just go, yeah, actually, I'll do what he wants. Let's see what my options are. With your companions bearing witness, you step up to the place where Thaos once stood before his people long ago. The great machine lies in front of you, idle, ready. I can talk with everyone? Back out. Well, not everyone. Manaha does not wish to talk.
Thaos, he had hold of your soul from a long time back, seems like. You get what you needed from him?
I got justice.
Not many can say that these days. Not with the gods using the world to settle their problems.
Some crocodiles can grow up to 18 feet. Most only have 4, though.
You'll be feeling better soon, then. Good. That's real good.
Val,
You got it
time
figured
to
out
have
what
some
you're going
water.
to do about all that?
Stop slouching.
Thaos had dialogue for the DLC character. But she doesn't have dialogue here. Not yet.
Got a lot of people out there thinking they've been abandoned by their gods. Not much that'll put the fear in you more than that.
As soon as I'm out of
Take my
dialogue.
word for it. If it was in my power, and I know it's not, but if it was, I'd find a way to give them the courage to face it. Not because they think there's some god looking out for them, but because they've just got it in them. And after what you've been through, though, I'm sure you got your own ideas. Better make it good.
He winks. Ada, the only thing you can do is wink. You have one eye. There, I'll make a manual save, just for you.
Thaos may be gone, but his crimes, the wounds he has inflicted, remain.
The grieving mother closes her eyes and gives you a single deep nod.
Yet before you lies an opportunity to heal, to restore. Only through the healing of families, repairing the bonds between parent and child, reforging the shattered links between generations, can the dear would be knit whole once more.
The chimes at her wrist sound as she knits her fingers together. You're right.
People will long remember the legacy. Let them also remember the healing that followed.
Waves of warmth and relief emanate from her mind.
Victory looks good on you. There was a blur about your soul that lingers no more. Seems putting Thaos to rest has given you some measure of inner peace. Of course, now you need to decide what to do with these trapped souls.
Aravius slaps you on the side with a beaming smile. He folds his arms in front of him and takes a deep breath.
You've won the right, if you wish, to use these souls as fodder to strengthen the living. Think of the Hollowborn. Think of the victims of animancy gone awry. It would be a great boon to so many. Consider, my watcher friend, that a true hunter provides strength and sustenance for the whole tribe. But that is merely my 2 pawns on this matter. This is your hunt, your victory, your prize. When I lost my way, you helped steer me back to Gallowayne. I sincerely believe the Seeker God has returned the favor by guiding you to this moment. It has been an honor to be a part of your pack.
Aravius bows, holding his lowered head for a long moment.
The end of the road greets us at last. You fared well, Watcher. Better than any Watcher has right to. Seems you were afield in need of a flame's cleansing.
His eyes narrow.
Would that my own trial had produced such an outcome. I had figured myself for the field all this time. But you were the field, and I the darkness. ours. A lesson neither of Durance nor of Margarin. But with that trial's end, a new one begins. A god's trial. And I will stand in judgment without mercy.
Okay, one more quick save after talking to everyone. You stand once again before the great Ingwiffin machine. Speak the command word. There is a shrieking of stone grinding against stone as old cogs loosen and begin to turn. You have only moments before the souls will be sent into the Aedra vein. This will be your only chance at redirecting them. And I have 5 choices. Send them back into the reincarnation cycle. Return them to the bodies they were intended for. Entropically disintegrate the souls, ending their existence. Distribute the essence to existing souls in Deerwood to strengthen them. That's what the gods wanted me to do. Or allow the souls to pass through the vein to Woodica and strengthen Woodica and complete Thaos' plan. I'm leaning to 2. Screw the gods, screw Woodica. Everyone's souls goes where it should be. Other gods would have asked me to do other things. 2 is what Hylia wanted. I didn't speak to Hylia though, did I? The vast majority of those bodies are dead now. Not all of them. Some people are still caring for a lot of Hollowborn out there, and they'll have a chance to live. But if I send them back to the cycle, they'll have a chance to live anew from the start. Because otherwise, how long has Waidwin's legacy been ongoing for? How many years? If it has been years? Because I would assume of the bodies that are dead, that those would just go back to the cycle, right? And it's gonna... It's been around a decade. I mean, who remembers their years before they're 10 anyway? I'd argue most people aren't even sapient until after that. 15 years? Okay. I'm still leaning to 2. Those that are dead would be returned to the cycle anyway, and those that are still alive would get another chance. Well, not another chance, but you gotta think of their families. Like, they just awaken. I want to go to 2. I mean, sure, we may have some 15-year-olds who aren't potty trained because they will have fresh souls inside as if they were just born, but I still think I want to go for 2. I'm doing it. I'm returning the souls. You close your eyes and expand your perception outward, taking in the immense totality of the tens of thousands of souls orbiting the chamber. Your grasp on the souls is tenuous. You find yourself fighting to keep them all within your influence, and you can feel them slipping away from you as the machine gains speed. The brief moment comes when it feels as though you hold all of them at once, and their force is so great it feels as though they will tear you apart. In that moment, you dedicate your entire being to bending their orbit, channeling their flow in a new direction.
At your command, the ancient device became your instrument, spinning to life with deafening resonance and gathering up the swirling essence like thread on a great spindle. There, in the pale, pulsing glow of the machine that set you on this path long ago, you summoned all your strength, focusing on your objective and blocking out all else. With a single concussive blast that rocked the chamber and sent you tumbling to the ground, you freed the souls from their stasis. Exhausted, your consciousness slipping away, your last sight was of the machine, dark and dormant. Then your eyes closed, and sleep welcomed you at long last.
Nap time.
After coming to and searching for some time, you discovered the route Thaos used to enter Sun and Shadow, and embarked on a long and arduous ascent back to the surface. You emerged in Ter Evron after days of tunneling through the rubble Thaos had left behind, and when you stepped into the daylight, you were faced with a different Deerwood than the one you had left. At your direction, the souls diverted by Thaos were guided back to the vessels originally meant for them. For the first time, parents of hollow-born children woke to the cries of their infants and looked into their eyes to see them staring back. People fell to their knees where they stood, thanking Helia or Mogren, or even Aethys for their forgiveness of whatever guilt they felt they bore.
God's taking my fucking
But for all
credit.
the relief that had come to some parents, others only found new grief. For many thousands of Hollowborn had died during Wideone's legacy,
Yeah.
many by their parents' own hands. For those children, there would be no homecoming. Yet the last Hollow birth was in the past now, and those parents willing to risk trying for a new child were frequently rewarded, often with twins. Many felt they saw Helia's hand in it, and the year would be remembered as the year of Helia's splendor.
Taking all my credit.
It
I
is
did
said
this.
that Galawain is the enforcer of the gods, and is known to hunt down those who wrong them. To wrong Galawain, then, is truly to wake the beast, and the father of monsters took great umbrage at your broken promise to him. Along with Mogren and Abidan, Galawain embarked upon a more direct approach to claiming his quarry. In the months that followed, the frontier settlements of Deerwood were inexplicably attacked by packs of beasts and monsters, suddenly organized and unafraid to approach Kith on their own land. Many such villages were all but destroyed by the time troops could be dispatched from local garrisons.
And still did
Those
what I
that
think
weren't
was
destroyed by the beasts of Galawain often found themselves at the mercy of the fires of Mogren. A dry spell throughout Deerwood led to a rash of forest fires on a scale not seen since the War of Black Trees, and many settlements paid the price for their proximity to the wilderness. In the cities, meanwhile, dabblers in animancy who had placed souls into golems and other moving vessels soon found that their creations had risen up against them. Such constructs terrorized their surroundings, killing indiscriminately and often in great numbers before being subdued. Lord Radric's zeal
We
had
take
brought
the
him
good
back
with the
to
bad.
life once, but it would not
It
do
doesn't.
so
Look,
again.
I won't be put out
Radric's
of work as an
destruction at your
adventurer.
hands spelled the end of his suffocating rule over Gilded Vale and the surrounding area. In his absence, the village prospered, becoming a popular destination for new settlers anxious to leave Defiance Bay after the riots. Without a nearby ruler, it also grew more wild, with many settlers moving on as soon as they'd arrived, turned off by lawlessness that was excessive even by Deerwooden standards. Nevertheless, despite the challenges of living there, Gilded Vale had survived,
Good.
and
I'll
would
take
continue to
anarchy over a
survive for
despot.
the foreseeable future. Following the assassinations of Duke Avar Wolfgren and Lady Webb, Defiance Bay was thrown into political upheaval. In the ensuing weeks, the streets had become the domain of looters and blackguards. Few dared to step outside their own doors alone or unarmed.
I don't think I could have done anything to stop
But
their
order
death.
was soon re-established by the Knights of the Crucible, who, despite their depleted numbers, had gained favor in the public eye for their role in the unraveling of the conspiracy surrounding Wideone's legacy, and were quickly reinforced by returning forces from Fleetbreaker Castle.
It's the
For the
Crucible Knights
Knights,
still doing good
their
then.
resurgence marked a return to the tradition as well. Having seen firsthand the dangers presented by dabblers in animancy, the Order quickly abolished the practice internally, preferring the familiarity of their hammers and forges to the uncertainties of Essence and Adra. Their identity rediscovered, The knights suppressed their political aspirations and began once again to train their recruits in the art of blacksmithing, recapturing the post-revolutionary ideals of Deerwood and regaining the respect of its citizens as a result. Though the machine atop Ter Noaneth had been disabled, it had not seen its last use. Heritage Hill was rebuilt, and no sooner had the first families moved in to resettle the district than members of the Leaden Key, acting under standing orders from their Grand Master, climbed the tower and reactivated the machine.
You twats.
The Initiate slew a handful of the new settlers under cover of night and watched as history repeated itself, the victims reanimating and devouring the survivors. After this second incident, the district would remain abandoned. The Duke's assassination at the apparent hands of an animancer had caused catastrophic rioting in the streets of Defiance Bay. But those who had escaped the melee in the palace hearings remembered the testimonies of the strange guest who had shown up that day and absolved animancy, implicating the Leaden Key instead. The rumor spread quickly, and soon the popular belief was that the assassin had been a Leaden Key spy.
Well, yeah.
When the legacy had lifted, people came to see it not as a sign that the riots had been according to the gods' wishes, as Thaos had hoped, but as a confirmation that animancy had never been the source of the problem in the first place. Deerwoodans instead convinced themselves that the riots had somehow purged Defiance Bay of Leaden Key spies, and that the end of Widewind's legacy was their well-deserved reward. The rage against animancers was quickly forgotten, and those who had survived were permitted to return to Brackenberry Sanitarium and rebuild it so they might resume their studies.
That's kinda good.
Abidon's renewal brought new vigor and purpose to a god long known for quiet, steady labor. Handicraft saw a revival in the Deerwood, and no smith wanted for an apprentice. Additionally, Abidon's restored interest in preservation led to redoubled efforts to survey Engwithan ruins. Animancers and craftsmen alike found much to study, but tensions with Air Glanfath rose. As for Stalwart, the Battle of Caron's Scar only strengthened their resolve to unlock the mysteries of Durgan steel and build new marvels with the White Forge. However, Stalwart's ambitions brought them into further conflict with the Raid Serens, as more and more impoverished communities gathered at the border and vowed to finish the work of the Iron Flail. It would be many generations before the region saw peace. The Flames That Whisper clan found a cautious peace with Stalwart, particularly once the villagers heard of the aid the ogres had offered against the Eyeless. The clan moved back into the Russet Wood, and as Stalwart grew in prestige, the villagers formed a tighter alliance with their ogre neighbors.
All I can think,
within a generation,
looking at this, is there
ogre
are free
traders
pickable
visited
herbs
Stalwart,
in that picture, and I want to
and
grab
village
them.
hunters were welcome in the
But I
Russet
know
Wood.
it's just a bloody picture.
Parmka's death had brought the Devil of Carrick little satisfaction. In time, her taste for vengeance soured. What
I was
replaced
going to show
it was a
them all
hunger to
pictures there
feel
because this is a
something,
different texture.
anything new. Summer had thinned the snowpack twice over when she felt the joint at her elbow first begin to stiffen. She turned her back on the hopes of animancy and civilization and walked east. She pushed through the mountains, past Raid Ceres, and into the broad plains of Ishamiddle. She had forgotten what it was like to simply journey, no goal or destination in mind. Though she felt nothing more than the steady thump of her feet on the road, the endless horizons and grassy meadows were new to her. She measured her time in the gradual rusting of her body and was satisfied. Her movements slowed, but so did the world around her. Waist-high grasses undulated and tacked in the wind, as gradual as the tides. Sparrows and blackjays made steady pilgrimages across the sky, each flap of their wings a solemn salute. She could hardly move when she found something she had never seen before, the ocean. With the last of her strength, she pulled herself beneath the water, content at last to feel the movement of currents and the constant caress of the waves.
Wow.
Free from the burden of her memory, Maneha soon left the gift-bearers and resumed adventuring. Now that she had a taste for the world, she wanted to experience it anew. Maneha rediscovered her zest for battle extravagance, and romance. She kept her gaze on the horizon, looking from one journey to another more distant, from the lover in her arms to another more fervent.
Oh, don't tell me that. Now I'm
Hers
not
was
gonna...
a life of excitement, violence,
Don't spoil
and
next
passion.
game things.
She moved too quickly for regret to catch up with her, and she hoped only that she might outpace it in the next life as well. The fortress of Cadnua emerged as a bastion of security in the midst of an untamed land, becoming the envy of every thane and earl in Deerwood. Legend grew over time of its impregnability, and stories of formidable invaders easily scattered by the keep's defenses became popular around the hearths of Deerwoodinians.
No, I want to know nothing.
It also became a beacon to travelers, merchants, and visiting dignitaries alike. Reputed as the finest fortress in all Deerwood, people would journey from near and distant lands alike to experience its fabled hospitality and grandeur. The Audra dragon known as the Master Below, her soul now housed in the body of the huntress Fallen Roet, passed out of Deerwood in relative anonymity, her final destination unknown, even to herself. She was last seen in the port town of Rhodes End, boarding a ship, an Audra talisman glowing about her neck. Palagina had gone against the Duke's Bell's orders by inventing a new trade arrangement with the Anamenfath to accommodate the recovering Deerwooden market. With the Deerwood's people still weakened by Weidman's legacy, the Valian republics easily pushed their would-be competitors out of the market. For her outrageous insubordination and audacity, Palagina was banished from the republics. She traveled north in the Eastern Reach, avoiding Valian ports and entering the ranks of the kind wayfarers. Despite her bravery and dedication to those in her care, her strange appearance made her feel like an outsider wherever she went. With your business concluded, Haravius quietly took his leave and headed home to Thane Bog. The elders of the Fisher Crane had not warmed to Haravius in his absence, and when he arrived, he was denounced and scorned. Haravius spoke of his deeds and of his communion with Galawain, yet none would support his petition to return to the tribe. One by one, starting with the oldest, Haravius challenged each member of the council to single combat, humiliating the Riau in a series of savage duels.
Nice.
With half the council bloodied and shamed, the elders at last acknowledged Haravius' strength, announcing him a hunter of the Fisher Crane tribe. Upon being granted this title, Haravius calmly left the village and embarked again on his life of wandering. Adair chose not to return home to Gilded Vale. Still most comfortable far from cities, he settled in Deerford, which, like many towns in the Deerwood, was beginning the slow process of rebuilding. Believing now that it was the obligation of Kith to be the leaders their gods had not, Adair was soon named mayor of the town, and under his guidance, Deerford soon began to prosper. He expelled the last of the Scanites from the area and drew new settlers with the offer of land, a trick he had learned from someone he otherwise preferred to forget. With each passing day, Deerford would come to more closely resemble the Gilded Vale of Adair's childhood, the one worthy of its name.
Nice.
When the dust settled in sun and shadow, Aloth looked upon the remains of Thaos Ixarchanon, his former master. He saw where the Grand Master had gone wrong and what would be required to undo the harm Thaos had wrought. With a flick of his wrist, he burned Thaos's robe, headdress, and every other symbol of the man's power. Never again, he vowed, should Kith live in fear and blind obedience to an authority they did not understand. Armed with the knowledge and courage he had gained on his journeys with the Watcher, he set out on the long and lonely task of dismantling the Leaden Key.
Good.
With both their aims fulfilled, Kanarua bid the Watcher farewell and sailed back to his beloved Rawatai. There, he reported on his findings to the Lore College. Kana spoke of the Engwithan people, describing both their vile experiments and their inspiring accomplishments.
Good for Matt Mercer.
He spoke too of the destruction of the tablet by the Leaden Key, and the group's efforts to erase the Engwithan legacy from the world. Both inspiration and cautionary tales, he said, could be found in the world beyond Rawatai's borders. Kana urged his people to continue to pursue knowledge abroad so that the lessons found there might benefit Tekoa. Kana's inability to prove his theory of Engwithan influence diminished his academic standing, but his passion drew much interest from those less concerned with degrees. Kana swiftly became an influential figure in the move toward a more collaborative approach to expansion on the northern continent. In his personal life, he came to enjoy the reputation of an affable eccentric, willing to share grand and impossible secrets, along with a drink and a song.
He seems...
With Thaos defeated
nice.
and the souls released from Sun and Shadow, healthy children were born once again in the Deerwood. The grieving mother sought a place where she might do penance for the birthing bell. She returned to Deerford, where, to the astonishment of the villagers, she delivered the first healthy child in over a decade. She remained there, and with each new birth, she saw a measure of hope restored to the Deerwood and a measure of grace for her own troubled past. Durrance used Mogren's strength only until Thaos had been cast from the world, and then swore off her influence entirely. Regret came to weigh heavily on his mind, and a man who had never previously lacked for words or opinions came to embrace silence and contemplation. He continued to wander, penniless and destitute, searching now not for the reason for his goddess's silence, but for a mechanism for revenge. The charred robes he continued to wear as a reminder that he had been burned by his goddess, and not just by the flames of the Godhammer. Sagani experienced the 4 months of her journey back to Masuk in vivid colors. She strove to memorize every moment of her final trip through the Deerwood, Erglonfoth, the Valian Republics, and beyond, preparing to tell her village of what she had seen on her long journey. All of Masuk shared in her triumph, and she felt her pride and elation magnified by the joy of her village. Never again did she doubt the value of her sacrifices. After decades as a long hunter, Sagani finally became one of Masuk's most respected elders. She guided her community with wise counsel, and a generation after she finally passed, another huntress journeyed into the world to find her soul.
Oh.
For you, the death of Thaos brought an end to your waking visions, and a silence to the whispers of the past.
That's not where he died.
In their absence, you were able to sleep.
Nap
The
time.
questions of a distant lifetime ceased to trouble your soul. All that remained was what to make of the answer. But at the moment, there was little to be done, and the matter would have to wait. A long journey loomed ahead.
Ah. Yay! We did it! How long until Avowed comes out? I think I've got like a month. Good game. Good game. I have half a month. Oh, Abby's given me a sticker that says good job. Thank you, Abby. 22 days to finish Pillars 2. That ain't happening. That's not happening. Not at 2 days a week of 8 hours total. But we can get started on it, and I can start saving up to buy it, and hopefully it's not a broken release. Maybe it will be on sale by the time I'm done. But I had a good time. Oh, we have a fast forward button. I don't think there'd be any post-credit stuff in a game like this, would there? Yeah, but I want to do optional side content, though. I don't want to rush through. Oh, is it doing the whole charge extra to play early thing? I'm not buying into that. Predictions for the second game? Well, if I'm importing my save, some of my actions are going to have consequences leading into that. And I feel the gods are going to be pretty pissed at me. Or at least the 3 I made a promise to and then said, nah, actually. Oh, Helio will be happy. But yeah. I mean, I don't pre-order games. The only exceptions is if people gift me the money to buy a game, because then I will then buy the game even if it's out or not. And with the intent of streaming it, unless it's completely broken at release and I can't do that, which hasn't happened so far. I've not been gifted a game that was that much of a mess at launch. Oh, all the backers. And yeah, we chill, we talk. I go on a lot of tangents now and then too. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Right. I'm going to mark that as done on the completed list. And that's going to be the end of the VOD because I'll need to restart the recording because we're going to start 2 today as well. So let me get that added to the list real quick. Let me scroll down to P. E-I goes underneath Persona and above Planescape. Pillars of Eternity 1 plus DLC January 2025. Added to the list. There we go. Right. Bathroom break before 2. Yeah, I mean, you've got time. You've got time. I don't need to go to the bathroom. Put social links in chat. If you're watching the VOD on YouTube, you can find them beneath the description. You can find our Discord, Blue Sky, etc., all in there, including the tip page if you want to support me, because I'm currently still totally wiped out from paying a deposit and first month's rent on a new flat. Technically today, I officially live there. I have the key. The power's not on for another 2 days, and the internet isn't on for another 2 weeks. So I'm still going to be streaming from Abby's until all of that is sorted. Right. Okay. That's going to be the end of the VODs. Thanks for watching on YouTube. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next one.